I read it in 5 days. Do you know what? Hell yeah. I was shook. How has it taken me this long to read this? Why is it so good? How are you supposed to guess? Hey book besties, welcome or welcome back. My name is Siân. I've made this cup of tea extremely full. I'm worried I'm actually gonna spill it, so let me just take a little. Oh yeah, that's a good brew, that. Better. So, today's the 30th of November. Let's wrap up my November reads because I finished the book I was reading last night, and I know I probably could read a whole book in a day, but I have other plans today, so I'm not gonna read anything else for November. The book that I start tonight will count towards December's read. So, let's go through. First things first, I was very, very good with my November TBR. So the books that I picked and said I was gonna read, I normally I try really hard, but I normally don't get through half of what I pick. I did this month. I'm so proud. November TBR. This is what I said I was gonna read. The only one of those I haven't read is The Stars Are on Our Side. So I picked 9, I read 8, but then I did read more than what I'd picked. So let's just get straight into it. I read 9 books for the month of November. Not too shabby. I did smash my reading goal this month. My goal was 105. I'm now on 112. I'm very, very pleased with that. So we started off the month with The Wrath of the Fallen. This is book 4 in the Gods and Monsters series. I've waited so long for this book, literally all year, because I read the first 3 in the series at the start of the year, and I fell in love with this universe and these characters, so I was so excited. I gave it 4.75 stars. This book did not disappoint me. My God, it was fantastic. I literally loved every single second of it. I felt like it took me on such a journey. Some parts of it made me really angry, like Nizmera. I hate her character so much. When authors can make you feel like a visceral loathing for a character, then you know they're doing a good job. There was so much that happened, and I'm not going to go into too much detail purely because it is book 4 in a series, and anybody who hasn't read this series, I don't want to spoil anything. But Sam, Keel and Diana were absolute perfection in this book. I'm fucking obsessed with them. They're both so possessive. Like, she's the bad girl and he's the good boy, but together they're just perfect for each other. But the possessiveness from both sides gives me life. The spice was phenomenal. Like, oh my God, there's a scene with fire, and it's something that's never happened before. Like, because obviously it's fantasy, so they're like not human and they have powers, and that scene was I was sweating. I love the dynamic of them with their friends as well, like Cameron. I love Cameron so much. Reggie, Miska, like, it's just so well done. It's completely well-rounded on every aspect. The last 100 pages, which they always seem to do in a fantasy book, shook me to the core. I felt like I was fighting for my life, and the way it ended, I was unwell. I really need book 5 immediately, as a matter of urgency, please. There's some things that I really want to see come to fruition in book 5 as well, that I was holding out hope that they would happen in book 4, but they didn't. But that's okay, because that means that they're still to come. But yeah, this book was absolutely fantastic. Then I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I did this one on audiobook, and it was really good. I gave it 3.5 stars. It kept me guessing the whole time. I was kind of like, where is this going? I couldn't really tell, but everything was really entertaining, and it was from 2 point of views. It was from a teacher and a student, and the prologue alludes to the fact that something has happened and a body is being buried, and then throughout the story it's like who gets killed and who's done it. And I did guess some of the twists, which I never normally do, so I was really pleased with myself for that. Pat on the back. But most of the twists I didn't guess, because how are you supposed to guess? How are you supposed to guess? I really don't know. I don't know how Frida does it, but yeah, the twist at the end, and then the epilogue twist, because there's always a little extra something to come. I was like, my jaw was on the floor. I was walking the dogs, I remember, and I literally went, oh, no. And then I thought, oh my God, look around, make sure nobody can see me just talking to myself. It was really cleverly written, and the students' chapters made me hate the teacher, but the teacher's chapters made me sympathetic towards the teacher, so I was like, it was very clever how she did that for the same character. Yeah, definitely worth a read. Then I read Eldritch by Carrie Lake. This is book 2 in the Eating Woods series. So I read Anathema in October, and I absolutely devoured it. I loved it so much, so I've been dying to get to Eldritch, but I just had other books that I needed to get in, so that's why I had to wait a couple of weeks to read it. I gave this 4.25 stars. It was really brilliant. It ended on a cliffhanger, and No, I was not okay. I was not okay. Like that cliffhanger. How, Kerry now, come on. How could you do that to me? How could you do that to me? And because that's only just come out, that means I've got a long wait for the next book. It's so unfair. So this story delved more into Zevander's past, and I really liked having that context of what had happened to him. It made me so angry and so upset on his behalf because it was absolutely horrific what he's gone through. But I needed to see how he became who he is. I also really loved how the relationship between Zevander and Mavis developed in this story. Again, because it's book 2 in a series, I don't really want to say too much for anybody who hasn't read Anathema. I highly recommend you do so. But yeah, this was just everything I wanted. The plot was brilliant. I really enjoyed how it unfolded. There was another POV that was introduced in this book as well, one of Zevander's friends, Casimir. I really like his character actually. He was in book 1, him and Revezia, their other friend, but you don't really get a sense of who they are until you kind of see their own POVs. So yeah, I really enjoyed Casimir's POVs in this one as well. It was just a really great story. And again, she didn't disappoint with like the spooky vibes and the settings and how she describes things that really paints a picture in your mind so you can kind of see everything playing out. Yeah. Then I had an arc called Two of a Kind by an indie author called Isla Eden. I gave this 3.75 stars. This is a strangers to friends to lovers. I thought I knew where the story was going to go, but it went in a different direction, but I wasn't mad at it. I was pleasantly surprised by the way that it changed. So basically the FMC Amara works in a bar, and any men who come in who are clearly married with a wedding ring on and they try and hit on her and take her home, she goes home with them, but not to sleep with them. It's so that she can drug them, take photo evidence of them and send it to their partners or wives to prove that they're cheating and get them out of this like toxic relationship basically. She wants to help these women. So it starts off with her doing that with this guy, and the wife responds saying take his wedding ring. So she does, but it turns out this guy is like in the mafia or the mob or something, and he comes looking for her and tries to hurt her. So she runs through town and ends up in a massage parlor, and she's like shit. So she pays for a session and she goes in, and Luke is her masseuse. The guys turn up there and he covers for her and says no, it's a man in here, it's his like weekly session, we don't know who you're looking for kind of thing, and they go away. And then he walks her home to make sure she gets home safe, and he can't really stop thinking about her. So he kind of wiggles his way into her life as a friend, and she's not really interested in anything happening. But then one day she's like, do you know what, there's something about this guy. Even though they're complete opposites, the relationship kind of blooms from there. Amara was a really, really feisty FMC. I really liked her character. She was like, from chapter 1, I found her really funny. This was a grumpy sunshine, but she was the grumpy. And Luke was literally like a little golden retriever, ray of sunshine, but he had a very filthy mouth. Overall, this was a really enjoyable read. She does have other books out. I did read an arc of another one of her books called All It Took Was Your Spark, but she has other works out, so go and check her out. Then I read Dark Notes by Pam Godwin, and I gave this 5 stars. I did it on audiobook, and I could not stop listening to this. This book was absolutely incredible. It was so dark, like so dark, Jesus. But it was so good. I'm a big dark romance lover, so yeah, this was right up my street. This is a student-teacher forbidden romance, and the FMC Ivory has a horrendous home life, like horrific. She goes to this prestigious school because her dad paid for her tuition before he died. Her mum and brother treat her like shit. They don't care about her. They are resentful that the dad used his money to put her through school, and the mum stopped working. Her and the brother turned to drugs, and Ivory is left to pay for the rent and all the bills and still put herself through school. She doesn't have time to get a job, so she has to do other things to earn money. It's heartbreaking. She gets a new piano teacher, Emmerich, and he thinks she's a teacher the first time she walks through the door because she's a little bit more developed than all the other 17-year-olds, and he becomes obsessed with her. He kind of forces her to tell him about her life, and he goes out of his way to find out things that she doesn't necessarily want other people to know about her life. And then he takes it upon himself to make her life better, but he wants to look after her and take care of her. And their love story was just so, so beautiful. Like, the forbidden dynamic was just too good. I really love a student teacher, like in real life, like absolutely not, but In books, it's so good. Why is it so good? I was laughing throughout this story. I cried throughout this story. It was just written really well. The plot was excellent. The passing of time was done very organically. I just absolutely loved it. There was not a single thing I didn't like about it, so 5 stars for me. If you get the opportunity to read this or do the audiobook, I'd definitely recommend it. Then I read Wisteria by Adeline Grace. This is book 3 in the Belladonna series. I read Belladonna and Foxglove both this year, quite a few months ago, and I've been wanting to get to this for a while. I waited until the paperback came out because I hate hardbacks, but it's just been sat on my shelf for a little bit, so I thought, right, let's finally read this. 5 stars, like, oh my god, this is the best in the series. Like, how has it taken me this long to read this? This is an enemies to lovers between Blythe and Aris, and the banter between them, like the hatred, the back and forth, the things that they both do to piss the other off, is absolutely hilarious. I was honestly howling reading this. Like, they would just insult each other constantly, and like the names that they would call each other, like he would say something like, "Don't do that, you monstrous girl," and I could just imagine it. Like, it was just brilliant. I won't say all the twists that happen in this, but it was honestly stunning, and the way it ended, I was crying. I just felt like this book finished me. It was honestly so beautiful. So again, because this is book 3 in a series, I don't really want to say too much and spoil it, but book 1 is about a girl, Blythe's cousin, Signa, who is trying to solve a mystery in Blythe's house, and she enlists the help of Death, the deity, and she gets into a relationship with him. So Blythe is Signa's cousin, and Aris is Death's brother. He is Fate. That's all I'm going to say. Honestly, excellent. Then we had Brimstone by Callie Hart. Oh, I'd waited for this. I'd waited so long for this. 5 stars. 3 5 stars in a row. Like, that is literally unheard of. That is unfucking heard of. Like, what a month. I had to get the hardback because I needed a trophy and I can't wait for the paperback. So I didn't want to pay for it on Kindle. If I was going to pay, I wanted a trophy. So here we have the hardback. Anyway, this book was so good. I did vlog it, which I've just posted on my channel last week, so go and watch that video after this. It was honestly so worth the wait. I thought the plot was excellent. Kingfisher and Ceres breathed life back into me. They are my favourite couple. Like, Quicksilver is my favourite book of all time, so if that gives you any indication as to how excited I was for this book to come out, like, I was salivating over this book. Like, when it arrived, yeah, not well. I was laughing so hard reading this book. I cried. The spicy scenes were fucking unreal, like unreal. They were everything that I wanted and more. Carrion Swift was the gift that kept on giving throughout this book. He is like one of the best side characters ever created. I love him so much. And Onyx, the little fox, oh my god, I love him. I love him. I love it when in fantasy books they have some sort of little animal sidekick. Onyx is just up there for me. Like, the way I picture him in my mind, like, he's just so adorable, and he was the MVP of this book. He was. This story was highly entertaining. It's, how many pages are you? You're 600 and something, I think. Yeah, 660 pages, and I was not bored at all. Not one tiny bit. I loved it so much. It ended on a cliffhanger. I was shook. So, yeah, not really pleased about the fact that I have to now wait for the next book, but it was everything I wanted. Then I was gonna move on to Alchemized because it was my book club book of the month and I needed to get it in, but when I went to buy it, it was $13.99 on Kindle, and when I looked online, it was $12.50 for the hardback, so I thought I'll order the hardback then, but it didn't come the next day, so I thought, let me have a little quick filler in between. So I read Throttled by Lauren Asher. I didn't enjoy this quite as much as I expected to. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was gonna give me the same sort of energy as the Dreamland Billionaire series or the Lakefront Billionaire series, and it didn't quite meet that, but I believe this was her first series, so, like, you know, take that with a pinch of salt. I did find the FMC a little bit annoying in the first, like, maybe like third of the book. She was really irritating, I don't know why. But I was very entertained. It was kind of not necessarily enemies to lovers, but rivals, because she is his rival's little sister, so it's F1. So him and her brother race for the same team, but they have this past where they used to be on different teams and they hate each other. And she's the little sister who's like tagging along and doing her vlog of the team and stuff, and he's like, I can't stay away from you. He becomes obsessed with her. She realizes, well, from the get-go that she fancies him, but she's like, I can't do this to my brother. I need to stay away. He's a notorious playboy. There's a lot more to Noah than meets the eye, and Maya eventually sees that, and she realizes, do you know what, I need to give this guy a chance. He's kind of scared of a relationship, but he wants to give it a go for her, and they kind of throw caution to the wind and decide we're going to give it a go, and damn what anybody else thinks. Do you know what? Hell yeah. And then finally we have Alchemized by Sen Yu. I finished this last night at like 1 a.m. and I gave it 5 stars, but I feel like this is like infinity stars. This is on the God tier list, 100%. Wow, this book is over 1,000 pages. This is probably the biggest book I've ever read. I read it in 5 days. Yeah, if that gives you a hint of how good this book was and how much I couldn't put it down. So as I said, this was my book club book of the month. My book club is on Fable. It's free to join. The link is in my description if anybody does want to join us. It's called Chapter 8 Book Club. So what can I even say about this book? I've seen everybody crying over it and saying that it's God tier and that it's like absolutely incredible and it's so dark and so worth the journey, and I completely agree with everything that everybody said about this. This was 1000% worth the hype. It was devastating and it was extremely, extremely dark. It broke my heart, but the destination was so worth the journey there. Like, I can't even believe some of the dark things that happened in this book. It was really, really heartbreaking to read, but I enjoyed every second of it. It took me maybe like 40 pages to get into the swing of it and kind of understand some of the terminology and the world building. Obviously it's a different kind of universe and there's like a magic system that you have to get your head around, but it was written incredibly, incredibly well. I'm so, so impressed. Helena and Cain are one of my new Roman empires, because holy shit, I don't think I'll ever forget this story. This story is honestly going to stay with me. I think it's very important to read trigger warnings before you do even consider picking up this book, but I would recommend that you read this at least once in your life because wow, I loved it. So they are the 9 books that I read in November. So now let's pick some books for December. It's the 1st of December tomorrow, like what the fuck? What is going on? So I don't have any arcs upcoming, I don't think, unless any are gonna just turn up in my inbox, which has happened on occasion, or turn up in the post. I'm not expecting any. So that means I've got free reign to read whatever I want with the help from the trusty TBR jar. I did just do a little book haul. I say little, it's not little at all. I will be posting a video soon. I filmed it already. I've spent £125 on books and I got quite a lot for my money. So I don't know whether I want to read some of the new stuff that I've got. Do you know what? Oh, I do really want to read you. I'm just looking at my bookshelves right now and spied one that I've just bought that I'm desperate to get to. So I might just do that myself and then pick 6 from the jar, do we think? Yeah, let's pick 6 and then see. Let's see. Okay, let's give it a good old 1, 2. A book from an underrated author. Ooh, an underrated author. My Dark Prince by Parker S. Huntington and LJ Shen. I don't think LJ is underrated, but I think Parker S. Huntington certainly is, so we're gonna go with this. This is book 3 in the Dark Prince Road series. I've read books 1 and 2, loved them. I think they are very underrated as books, to be honest. I think they were so funny. They're kind of retellings of like fairy tales. I know that My Dark Desire was like a Cinderella one. I can't remember was it Romeo and Juliet? I think My Dark Romeo was a Romeo and Juliet, potentially. Don't quote me on that. This one says, this sleeping beauty woke up to a nightmare. I'm marrying a beautiful monster, a crooked fraud, America's wealthiest bachelor. He claims we're in love, yet all I taste in our kisses is hate and lust. I don't remember why or how, but I do remember he's the enemy. Now I'm stuck inside a nightmare and Oliver will do anything to keep me in the dark. Abso-fucking-lutely here for it. Oliver has been in all the other books. There's the 3 guys who are friends and their group chat is honestly fucking hilarious. So I've been dying to know what Oliver's like as an MMC. I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. Pick a book with your eyes closed. The last time this one came up, I got my TBR up on my phone and I scrolled and stopped like that because my shelves are so spread out between what I've read and what I haven't read that it's going to be impossible to do it like that. So let's do it like this. If it's a book that's like number 2, 3, 4, whatever in a series, then I will pick again because I'm not reading the series out of order. Irreversible by Jennifer Hartman and Shelley St. Clair. Do you know what? Yeah, I marked this as wanting to read 6 months ago. Let's read it. It says, they say the best kept secrets are hidden in the darkest places. I know that better than anybody because I'm one of them. I spend my days locked in a black market nightmare, held captive by a twisted mastermind who considers me his prized possession. My only form of human contact are the victims in the next room, each of whom disappears faster than the last. Everyone leaves except me. Then I hear him, Isaac. Brash, elusive and haunted, he isn't anyone's idea of a hero. Separated by a wall, our faces hidden, his voice cuts through the darkness, becoming my only hope. He's driven by vengeance, bearing scars as dark as my own. Despite his rough edges, a fragile bond formed between us. A lifeline. Isaac might be my best chance of escape, but time is slipping away. Breaking free will mean outrunning both our pasts. And in this twisted game, the cost of freedom may be more than we can afford to pay. Appearances deceive, choices have consequences, and some consequences, they are irreversible. Yes, I absolutely want to read that. Read a debut novel. A debut? Oh, okay. So not necessarily one that's just come out, but an author's first. Let's see then, shall we? Let's see. Okay, I think this is a debut. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I'm just looking on Goodreads and it looks like this came out in 2017 and that's the earliest date of all the others on here. So it says, remember it's only a game. This series comes before the Once Upon a Broken Heart series and I know they are kind of connected because I believe the main character of this is mentioned in that series and I've read that and I absolutely loved it, so I have been wanting to get to this. I know I probably should have read it first, but I didn't, so it says, remember it's all a game. What happens beyond this gate may frighten or excite you, but don't let any of it trick you. Once a year, the infamous master legend hosts Caraval, open only to those who have been invited. This year, the week-long game is on Legend's glittering Isla de los Sueños, where the winding streets are an elaborate snow-covered maze and the people are never who they seem. At midnight on the first day, the show begins and the visitors become players. Each of them is vying for the coveted prize, a single wish. All they must do is unravel the mystery of Caraval, but in a game where danger hides behind every charming smile, winning isn't without loss, and their wish might be their last. Ooh, this is very intriguing. This is very, very intriguing. Okay. Read a book that's been made into a film or TV show. Do you know what's on my TBR that I've just seen people have been watching? It's Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I marked it as want to read February 2024, but I don't know if this is book 2 in a series and I don't know if you have to read the others. Let's Google it. Oh, there we go. Do we have to read Game Changer before Heated Rivalry? No, you don't. Heated Rivalry can be read as a standalone novel. However, reading Game Changer first provides beneficial background context and a deeper understanding of how the plot develops. But you can read it on its own. It's self-contained and you will understand the main plot without reading the first book. The first book sets up certain plot points and character relationships that play a role. Okay, so is it different characters then? This is who? So this is Shane and Ilya. It's an romance, which I go absolutely feral for. And Game Changer is who? Scott and Kip. I think it's an series. I probably will get around to that at some point, but yeah, I'm gonna read Heated Rivalry because it's just become a TV show. That's what we're gonna read. So it says, nothing interferes with Shane Hollander's game. Definitely not the sexy rival he loves to hate. Pro hockey star Shane Hollander isn't just crazy talented, he's got a spotless reputation. Hockey is his life. Now that he's captain of the Montreal Voyageurs, he won't let anything jeopardize that, especially the sexy Russian whose hard body keeps him awake at night. Boston Bears captain Ilya Rozanov is everything Shane's not. The self-proclaimed king of the ice, he's as cocky as he is talented. No one can beat him except Shane. They've made a career on their legendary rivalry, but when the skates come off, the heat between them is undeniable. When Ilya realizes he wants more than a few secret hookups, he knows he must walk away. The risk is too great. As their attraction intensifies, they struggle to keep their relationship out of the public eye. If the truth comes out, it could ruin them both. But when their need for each other rivals their ambition on the ice, secrecy is no longer an option. Oh, okay. I'm sold on that, thank you. I'm sold on that. 2 more. A book that starts with the same letter as my name. So, S. What do we have? What do we have? Anything new that I just bought? Does it count if we ignore the? I think that counts. So I'm gonna go with The Sinner by Chantal Tessier. Book 2 in the Lord series. I did read book 1 and I've been wanting to get to book 2. I was raised in a world where money and power are at your fingertips. My father is a lord, a very respected member of a secret society that knows no bounds. When tragedy struck my family, we discovered we weren't untouchable. Just when I thought life couldn't get any worse, I was shown what hell is really like. Then he came and saved me. Devil disguised as my personal hero, but of course nothing is for free. Not when a soul is up for grabs. I vow, you vow, we vow. Easton Bradley Sin uses his power for his own sick pleasure. Like a typical lord, he never thought about the consequences of his actions. I grew up with him, obsessed over him, craved him. He was who I pictured when I imagined doing things my body shouldn't want. One day I realised he was not who I thought he was. It didn't change anything though, because I was already too far gone. If anything, I fell for him harder. Every now and then, someone enters your life who flips it upside down. Sin wrecked me in the worst way, and I thanked him for it by serving on my knees. As they say, nothing lasts forever. Men like him never stay with a woman like me. I'm what they use, not keep. So when he threw me away, I shouldn't have been all that surprised. My body had always craved the darker side of love, the kind that left bruises and scars. I was what most would call unholy. When the devil whispered in my ear that he loved me, I was more than determined to show him just how devoted I could be. Okay, I'm finally gonna get to this. I'm sure I picked this a few months ago with my TBR and I just didn't read it, but we're gonna hopefully get to it in December. So let's pick one more. A book with heartbreak. A Hue of Blue by Marie France Ledger. I bought this last year sometime and I have not yet got around to it because I have to be in the mood to read a heartbreaking book. I don't know what this is about other than it's meant to be heartbreaking, so this fits the criteria. How much pain are you willing to endure for someone you love? Bold, charismatic and charming Blue Henderson wears a fake smile every day, pushing through life because she has to, not because she wants to. Quiet, introverted and mysterious Jace Boland catches her eye the second she sees him. After that, it's game over, not just for Blue, but for Jace as well. Drawn together by inexplicable attraction, a whirlwind connection forms that persists and torments, mends and breaks, and forces both Blue and Jace to confront the traumas of their past while trying to make their relationship work. A Hue of Blue explores how two broken hearts can find comfort in tragic losses, how two broken souls can find peace in pain, and how loving yourself may be the only way to love another, no matter the consequences. Yeah, we're gonna go for this. So, they're the 6 books, and then I can mood read the rest that I want to read. I'm pleased with that, actually. So I will leave you there, this video's been long enough. So as I said, I did just post a video, a reading vlog of Brimstone, and I'll leave that right there if you want to stay for a while. It is spoiler free, and if you've made it this far, then thank you for watching.